A short stroll from Dublin's St Stephen's Green brings us to the National Archives in Bishop Street. Located in the old Jacob's biscuit factory, the Archives is the central repository for the records of the state.
I'm Orlaith McBride and I'm the Director of the National Archives, and we're here in the National Archives headquarters in Bishop Street in Dublin 8. So we have about 50 million records. So I always like to say that if you put them all out in one big line, they'd reach from here to Kilkenny. So the records we have here date back to the 16th, 17th century, but most of those were destroyed in the fire of the forecourts in 1922. So in this building here in Bishop Street, most of the records relate to the modern Irish state from the 1920s right up until the modern day. The most recent records that we would hold all relate to the Good Friday Agreement dating back to 1998 and right up to 2003. So here I have before me now financial compensations. You can see Rin Arrogid, and this is a compensation claim from a Michael Hickey in County Waterford. So he's Michael Hickey and he's from Ballinamult in Waterford, and he's a farmer, and the compensation claim here, the details of it that would have gone to the court are outlined here. So he would have been a member of the IRA and he would have lost all his property by the British Army. So the British Army attacked his farm. So that's just an example of one of the many records that we hold.
And what are the most accessed documents in the archives?
The public are really interested in wills and coming in and looking at wills relating to people maybe down the road in their local parish, etc. But also a lot of solicitors and legal searchers would use the National Archives to look at wills and probate records. But we also have academics coming in. We have ordinary people who are coming in just interested in local history and something that might have happened in their own county, their own parish.
David Noonan, Director of Corporate Services at the National Archives, tells us about the work now afoot on a €37 million redevelopment of the building.
Since 1992, this has been the headquarters for the National Archives. So at the front of the building, we have a 7-storey block over basement, and here at the rear is the old warehouse. So previously in this space, we had racking, shelving going the whole way to the roof, which was substantial height. So all that we had were records that were really inaccessible. So that's going to change now. We're going to build what we're calling a box within a box. The walls will remain here, the roof will remain here, and inside this big large space we will build 4 chambers, 2 over 2, and that will give us most up-to-date modern archival storage. It will be passive and it will allow us to recant all of the boxes that we've had to take off-site to allow this build to happen. When we get this built, what we'll end up with is storage for approximately 22,000 boxes. That would mean nearly 250,000 records coming back on site that are currently off-site and there's difficulty accessing for the public.
And the building has its own interesting history.
It's the old Jacob's building, so it does have the features of a factory still here, you can see from looking around. It is also a place which is great to hold the history and memory of the state, because it's been involved in the history of the state. Here in the 1916 Rising, the 2nd Battalion under Thomas MacDonagh were stationed. Jacobs were here from 1953 to 1977. They were one of the largest employers through that period in the country. Very benevolent employers, and you can see from some of the features in the front block of the building, there's the remnants of what was a swimming pool and a dance hall, and I believe there was at one stage a roof terrace here as well, even for the employees. So again, it's part of the history of the building, part of the history of the city, and part of the history of the country. So it is fantastic that we hold the records here of the state and of all of our historical and business collections.
An star Leacha Durish. The National Archives is open to the public, Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, see www.nationalarchives.ie.